All right, welcome back to another episode of the Drunk Bond Podcast with your host, James St. John Smythe. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Sorry it's taken me so long to do another episode. I don't really have much of an excuse. Not an interesting excuse anyway. I just haven't done it in a while. I'm human too. I may not sound like I'm just a man, but I am just a man. And it takes me a while to gather up the courage to put myself out there. But here I am. And today we'll be discussing the 1979 movie? 79? Moonraker, starring Roger Moore. What am I sipping on today? Having a little peach daiquiri, that's right. I think I've discussed the peach daiquiri on this podcast before. I don't think I've ever actually had one on here. And I put the full amount of rum on there, and I put a little Blackwell rum floater on it. So your host is feeling it right now. I feel right. And you know, another little tip, I put a smoothie straw in it, so the hooch gets to my mouth quicker. Isn't that smart? So, here we are. We're back. Drunk Bond Podcast. Part of the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network. Perhaps you've heard of it. Everyone's been talking about it. I think they just added a podcast about, it's called Round 14. I don't think I've discussed that one. I'm not sure what it's about, though. I'm assuming the Round 14 has some sort of Rocky reference to it, but I'm not sure what or why. But I've heard good things, so give it a listen. How about that endorsement? I was recently on Ryan's Rambo podcast, Rambo 2. Ever heard of it? Yeah, you can find that on the network page or Spotify. You know, you just look at, you just got to look it up. Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. I was also on Seiko's podcast. He does the Mel Gibson podcast, although we weren't doing a Mel Gibson movie, so I'm not sure what show that was. But I know I was talking to him. And we were talking about The Fugitive. So, there's some fun for you. What's more fun than The Fugitive? And I'm not sure when that's coming out. That's kind of between us two and Harrison Ford. So stay out of it. Oh, and Seiko, actually, I need to give him a little shout out. He actually tried one of my drinks that I've talked about on this show, the Black Passion. He was a smart man and took my advice and did it. And he's a better man for it. I mean, he made that drink, and now you got a party on your hands and a party in his hand. So bravo for him for taking my advice. If only everyone were that smart to take St. John Smythe's advice all the time, no matter what it is. Just do it. Just follow. Don't think. Just do it. All right? And I know a lot of you casual Bond fans here to just discuss Moonraker might be thinking, St. John Smythe, who the fuck are these people? What are you talking about? Well, look it up, man. There's other all kind of action. You got Sylvester Stallone, Arnold, Round 14. Maybe you can tell me more about what that is. They got a 90s action movie thing. Dolph Lundgren, Bruce Willis. So there you go. But enough of all that bullshit. Moonraker. Goddamn, is there anything more dangerous than a floater in a daiquiri? Good Lord. It's just a shot of rum I'm drinking. Whew. I wish you could see the size of this styrofoam cup, too. It's like it must be 30-something ounces. That's just massive. And it's a homemade drink, so you know it's strong. So anyway. Moonraker. Lewis Gilbert directed this one. He did Spy Who Loved Me and You Only Live Twice. And all three of these movies are pretty much the same movie. No complaints, though. I mean, if you do it well 3 different times, then, I'm fine with that. And he did do it well 3 different times. I think they were supposed to make For Your Eyes Only, and then the Star Wars, Star Wars was big and all that, so they kind of went with the sci-fi space thing, because the book has nothing to do with, they are building a rocket, but obviously Bond's never in space or anything like that. So yeah, let's just get started. We got a gun barrel and a PTS. Let's talk about that pre-title sequence. There's a plane carrying a space shuttle. They're going merrily along. No big deal. Mind their own business. 2 guys, just taking in the stars out in space. They start kissing a little bit, but it's not gay because it's in space. So you just have to trust me on that. It's not gay. And then 2 assholes in the Moonraker that they're towing come out, and they just fire up the Moonraker, explode that plane, and they just take off. So that's not good. So we cut to M and saying, oh God, this isn't good. Call everybody. Call the fire department. Call the police. And call James Bond. Call Card Sense. I need him now. And Moneypenny says, he's on his last leg, sir. Cut to Bond feeling up some girl's leg on an airplane. So they're just having fun. I don't think they're banging, but they're finger banging, I think. He's fingering her. She's finger banging him. It's a real free-for-all, you know. When you're in an airplane, the rules just go out the window. Turns out she's fucking treacherous, and she just points a gun at him. Which, did she just have that gun in her hand the whole time? He didn't notice that? Of course, you can't really blame him. You know, like when you're at 30,000 feet in the air with a thumb inside you, you think you're going to notice someone carrying a gun on the plane? I don't think so. And I think we can all relate to that. I think we've all been there. So yeah, they start having this little fight. I can't remember. Someone jumps out the plane with a parachute, and then Bond's looking at him, and Jaws just throws him out the plane. So Jaws is back. So Bond is just in the sky with no parachute. He sinks down to get that first dude that jumped out the plane and takes his parachute. Jaws is following him. It's a pretty great stunt. They're actually eating ass at some point. It looks like they are, which is unfortunate. But again, like I said, it's not gay if it's way up in the sky like that. So they're fighting and everything. Bond finally pulls the ripcord, which I don't know why anyone didn't do that before. Maybe the guy that Bond was chasing in the first place. Just pull the fucking ripcord, man. And then you're done. Game over. Bond's dead. But he wasn't that bright. So then, of course, Jaws' parachute just doesn't work, and he starts flapping his arms trying to fly. And it's just a ridiculous ending to a great pre-title sequence. He falls through that circus tent and I guess doesn't die. Silly ending, but this stunt is one of the all-time greats. It is top-tier pre-title. They filmed this for like weeks. They had to jump out the plane like 75 fucking times just to film all this stuff. Obviously, you can see the stuntmen sometimes, like, okay, that's not Roger Moore, that's not Richard Kiel. But, dude, the fact that they did this is, like, insane. And it's getting my full endorsement. And it should be in your top 5 pre-title sequence. I think it's in my top 5. Moonraker pre-titles. Look it up. And we cut to the title sequence with the song. The song is just not, it's just not one of my favorites. I mean, you get Shirley Bassey back, God bless her. But, man, it's just a rough... I can't remember how it goes. Moonraker! It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. So we cut to M's office with Minister Grey and Q. So the Moonraker shuttle was it was being flown to the UK on loan from the Americans. And the Moonraker that was exploded or whatever stolen wasn't found. So they're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why, we found the other rocket or airplane, where's the Moonraker? So some funny business is going on. That's what they suspect. And the thing with the Moonraker is it's capable of being launched into space by rocket, and it can orbit the Earth and then re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and land like a conventional aircraft, which I guess is neat. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't know. I'm not really into space, so I don't really know, nor do I care. So they're like, fine, the Moonraker, it's got to be somewhere. They're built in California. I don't know. Start there, perhaps. Just figure it out, man. And Hugo Drax builds these things, so go check it out. So Bond goes to California, and he's picked up in a helicopter by Corinne DeFore. Welcome to California. I like it already. And they get to Drax's just ball-ass lair, man. This is like... Drax has like 3 different layers, and they're all top tier. And he walks in, and Bond's like, hell of a lair, Drax. House. Hell of a house you have here. And Drax just starts being diabolical. Your country's one indisputable contribution to Western civilization. Afternoon tea. Gives a nice little shot to Great Britain, huh? Like that. May I press you to a cucumber sandwich? So one of his henchmen comes and gives cucumber sandwiches out, and Bond says no. But he's like, hell of a henchman. Butler. And he asks a couple questions about the Moonraker, and he's like, yeah, I built them. I don't know where that one went. What the fuck? And Bond's like, all right, well, cool. Nice to meet you. Glad we talked. Let's stay in touch. Goodbye. And Drax is like, Chang, kill him. Murder him. Murder him right in his fucking face. I don't like him. I don't like his face. And, I know what you're thinking, Chang. It might be a bit much, but I offered him that cucumber sandwich. He said no. You know how long it takes me to grow those cucumbers over here? That's fresh baked bread. You know how delicious that cucumber sandwich is? And he just says no? Not cool. I mean, I know us Bond villains don't typically go nuts until like the 3rd act, but I've already blown my top. My top was blown as soon as I started growing this goatee. So I'm already nuts. Go kill him right now. So Chang says, okay, cool. I didn't have anything going on anyway, so might as well. So Bond takes a tour of this place, for whatever reason, from Dr. Holly Goodhead. Yes, that's her real name. I'm not sure why he's getting a tour. They go to like this chamber that like trains the astronauts or something. 20 G's is fatal, 3 G's is takeoff pressure. A 70-year-old could handle 3 G's. Trouble is, there's never a 70-year-old around when you need one. Is that supposed to be a joke or I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. And I can't ask Roger Moore about it because he's dead. So I don't know what that was supposed to mean. I guess it was a joke. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll laugh at it out of politeness, but I don't really understand it. So Chang comes in and goes to Goodhead. It's like, Mr. Drax says telephone him. And she's like, okay, I'll be right back. And Bond's like, wait, so you're going to leave me with that guy who won't stop staring at me as if he wants to chop my fucking head off? So sure enough, Chang goes to the control room, takes out the normal wire and screws in a diabolical wire. And he's like, okay, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a real fun afternoon. I'm going to torture this dude for a while. And starts twisting him around that thing, and Bond's about to die, and then he uses the little gadget that Q gave him. I don't think I mentioned that Q gave him a gadget. I don't know, it's like a wrist dart or something. I don't know. It's not super exciting, but he does use it several times. Spoiler alert. Well, I tell you what, this peach daiquiri is wonderful. Fresh peaches. And we're in September now, so this is like sadly probably going to be my last kind of summer drink for a while. Daiquiris, I'm saying goodbye. I know it's a sad time, and I've gotten all your well wishes, your get well soon cards that the summer's over. I know, it's sad. I'm sad. But it was a good run, wasn't it? What was I talking about? Chang? The pressure chamber? Whatever? Yeah, so he's about to kill Bond. He uses the little gadget to fuck up the thing and make it stop. And Chang is just so sad. Like a true frown comes over his face. Like it looks like he's going to cry. He was really looking forward to this. And Dr. Holly Goodhead, where the fuck was she, comes back and she's like, let me help you. And he's like, get away from me, bitch! I don't know what could have happened. Well, let's do a little detective work, shall we? It was going way too fast. How do you control this thing? The control room, you say? Well, let's check the fucking control room. Oh, what do you know? Right there. That fucking Chinese dude that, is staring daggers at me. You don't suppose he had something to do with it, do you? What do you say, Watson? Let's go check it out. God damn. Oh, I don't know what could have happened. Stop leaving me with fucking undesirables. So Bond, once he gets over that bullshit, goes to Corinne's room without knocking, which is just a hell of a power move. I mean, Matt, you just met this girl, and you're walking into her room in the middle of the night without knocking. You just walked right in. And she tells him that they were working on something secret, but it's been moved. So Bond's like, well, WT fuck, I wonder what that's all about. And she's like, why should I tell you anything? And he starts kissing her, and she doesn't want it. You presume a great deal. Kisses her again, and she's like, okay, I'll literally tell you anything you want. I am in love with you. I've never been this in love. So they start banging, and they do it all the different ways, you know? Up and down. And Chang's walking around in the middle of the night. Meanwhile, Bond finds like blueprints in Drax's safe that like Corinne just like lets him into. Why is Bond even sleeping here? Get the hell out of there, man. They tried to kill you. And like Corinne has to know this isn't going to end well. You let him in to hit Drax's safe in Drax's office? That's not smart. And sure enough, Chang sees him in the middle of the night, walking around like a creep, and he's like, son of a bitch, did he bang Corinne? I've been trying to get in that skirt for years. Well, that's strike two. Now I really don't like this guy. So the next day, they're quail hunting, as you do. And Bond's about to leave, and he's like, oh, why don't you take a couple shots at some quail? And Bond sees a henchman in a tree, and acts like he's shooting a quail and just shoots the henchman out of the tree, which is just one of the all-time greatest, coolest Bond moments. You miss, Mr. Bond. Did I? Guy just falls out of a tree, walks off. I'm assuming he was trying to kill me, right? That was a henchman, right? It wasn't just some like gardener who was trimming the trees, because one might call that murder. And then Drax is just like triple pissed, so he's like, Corinne, I fucking hate you. You're fired. And actually more than fired, so you better start running. So she runs into the woods, and she gets eaten alive by Drax's dogs. Now, you want to talk about, I mean, that is the way to go. Eaten alive by dogs. That's just fun. That's good old-fashioned fun. So Bond goes to Venice. I can't remember why he goes to Venice. I think the blueprints that he found or something that makes like this expensive glass, they're out of Venice. Something like that. I have a hard time following these little leads that he has. And he runs into Holly Goodhead there. What do you know? And he says, hey, Holly. What's going on? I do love when he gets to his hotel room, I don't even know who it is, the woman that works there. Can I interest you in something? I'm tempted to say yes immediately. He just cannot let one woman go by without just giving her some dynamite line. So anyway, I can't remember what him and Holly talk about, but he gets on a boat and Drax's henchmen start attacking. I don't even know how they know he's there, but they do. I don't know. Some dude that comes out of a coffin throwing knives. There's a lot of hijinks that ensue in this little action sequence. And the boat, you got the coffin guy, then his boat turns into a hovercraft, a gondola or whatever, in Venice. And he starts riding through town. There's a guy paddling as he's sinking in his boat. The cigarette coughing guy, the guy with wine, the double-take pigeon, the famous double-take pigeon. Yes, a pigeon double-takes at Bond's boat. There's that beer pour, the waiter's pouring beer on a guy. A lot of hijinks, like I said. Roger Moore ends up putting on that fucking hat. Looks like an asshole. And he gets out of it. Fun scene. Little silly. Fun scene. And that night, he goes back to that glass shop and finds like this secret lab with scientists handling some liquid. And after they walk out, Bond goes in there and checks it out. And he hears them coming back in, so he goes to hide. And they end up knocking over that toxic gas that was left out by Bond. These poor bastards. Working the graveyard shift. Gas falls, and they're like, fuck. And Bond's like, well, good thing I got a license to kill, because that might have partially been my fault. And the rats, meanwhile, are fine. So the rats are cool, but those scientists are not cool. And Bond leaves, but after leaving, the henchman Chang like scream attacks, and they break all the glass. I mean, all the glass in this place. And I just love this fight so much, because it's just so over the top. Fighting in a glass factory, and they break every single shard of glass. And Chang never stops screaming. I wish Bond in the middle of it would just be like, hey, time out. Can you shut the fuck up, man? What is with all the screaming? I hear you. I'm right here. I know we're fighting. No need to scream. Keep your voice down, sir. You don't hear me screaming. They fight with swords. They just do so much stupid shit. And they get up to like the tower, and Bond ends up throwing them through a clock. And like, he goes face first into a piano on the ground as people are like having fucking dinner with this piano player. And it's just, I love this scene. Play it again, Sam. I mean, you're having an espresso, a coffee, a glass of wine. You're in Venice. And some Chinese dude just falls from the sky and goes face first into the piano that you're listening to. That's traumatic, man. I mean, you want to talk about ruin my vacation. Or it certainly ruined my night. I'd probably be fine the next day, but, I don't want to see that. So Bond sneaks into Goodhead's room, as, it's kind of the norm at this point. And after seeing like 15 gadgets, he realizes that she's with the CIA. And she's investigating Drax as well. I like when he finds that champagne of hers. If it's the 69 you were expecting me. Ha ha! 69 jokes! It's fun, isn't it? 69. Yeah. You know what that is? I'll tell you later. So they agree to pool their resources, which I don't know why they wouldn't have in the first place. Just, we're allies. Why aren't we teaming up? But anyway, so they start agreeing to pool their resources, and kind of, instead of shaking hands, they make sex to each other about it. And they do it all the different ways. Left to right, up and down, side to side. You know how it goes. So Bond goes back to the lab with Minister Grey and M. But this time, everything's gone. He's like, what the fuck? And Drax is just by himself, like in this huge room, I don't know, having a cucumber sandwich and having tea. And M and Freddie Gray are pissed. And Bond's like, all right, touche. Okay, how'd you do it, though? It's like seeing a magician after the show. Okay, nice trick. But seriously, though, no, for real, how'd you do that? How'd you change this room? This ceiling is like 40 feet higher than it was last night. How did you do this? That doesn't make any sense. Where's the rabbit? Come on, how'd you do that trick? And Minister Grey is fucking furious and takes Bond off the mission. But kind of like with a wink from him, saying like, you can keep going if you want. That doesn't seem very professional. And Bond should be like, wait, what are y'all saying, guys? Like, do you think I made this shit up? Like, what are you saying here? How many times have I saved the world? Do you think why would I just make up that there was a lab back there and there isn't? This dude's full of shit. He tried to kill me like 3 times at his house. Did I mention that? This guy's no good. He makes the Moonrakers. There's something fishy going on with the Moonrakers. I saw his lab. He tried to kill me 3 times. Do you see how he looks? You saw that goatee? He's fucking evil, man. His name's Drax. That sounds evil. So M says, like, yeah, you can keep looking into it, and he gives him that nerve gas. And M's like, so there was a laboratory. And Bond's like, yes! What are you... Fucking beat it, man. Give this to Q. Done with you. So meanwhile, Drax needs to replace Chang, because somebody put his skull through a piano, and he picks up Jaws. I don't know how that works. Is Jaws just a free agent after that little kerfuffle with Stromberg in the last movie? Sends over his resume. Oh, yes, if you can get him. The old henchman hotline, huh? So Bond gets to Rio. Again, I can't remember why he goes to Rio. But take my word for it, he does go there. And one of his allies, Manuela, is in his room already, making him a martini. And Bond probably walks in and is like, oh, a prostitute. That is so sweet. Oh my gosh. Yes, I will. Yes, this is going to be a great day. And she's making him a martini, but I don't like the glass she pours it in. That's always bugged me. I'm not sure if anyone else has ever noticed this, but I don't like the martini glass that Manuela pours that thing in. And she tells him about a Drax subsidiary that Bond wants to check out. I can't remember what it is. And they sit on the couch and Bond starts undressing her right away. He just met her, I'm not sure if it was 30 seconds ago. And says, meanwhile, how do you kill 5 hours in Rio if you don't samba? Cut scene. And they do it all the different ways. So Bond goes to the warehouse that night. Meanwhile, like, Jaws attacks Manuela at the festival. So Jaws is back, which is like genuinely scary in that outfit, and he comes like from far away. But then all the scariness is just gone because he starts like dancing with her to like not alert people. And it's just goofy as shit. Why is Manuela even packing a knife? By the way, pack a fucking gun, man. You're like 4 foot 8 inches. You're gonna need a gun. This festival reminds me of the Junkanoo in Thunderball. I don't like Bond in these festivals. I didn't like the Day of the Dead and Spectre. Too many people, man. I don't like all these locals. Yokels, more like. You know, they're not respecting his job. I don't appreciate it. So Bond goes to the top of a mountain to check out this air base that Drax is using. And he sees Holly Goodhead. What do you know? And you got like these fucking people who I guess haven't gone to sleep yet. Like, you got knockoff Sesame Street characters, like playing trumpets. Jesus, guys, can y'all give it a rest? It's been all night. It's the next morning. Go to sleep. Why are you dressed like a dog and you're playing the fucking violin? Got dogs and elephants. There's a chicken playing the drums. This isn't a joke. I mean, these people in Brazil. God damn, man. Y'all go to sleep. I can see why y'all aren't a superpower. Y'all just partying all day and night. So they take the gondola down from that mountain. And Jaws knows they're there, so he stops the gondola. Starts biting the wire, which was actually licorice, by the way. Hey, first fun fact. It took a while for me to get to you a fun fact, but that's a fun fact. That was black licorice that he was actually biting. And he attacks him. His name's Jaws. He kills people. And when he gets up to them on that gondola, this fight looks so shitty. The way they film it up close, like with the actual actors. Jaws jumping looks like a cartoon. Like, it's just a joke. But the thing is, they actually filmed this scene on top of these gondolas in Rio, on that mountain. Which is, like, insanely impressive. Like, they had actual, like, those long shots. They had people hanging on these things, acting like they were fighting. Which is just a terrifying stunt to do. But then you zoom in on them close, like Roger and Jaws and Goodhead, and it's like, this is the goofiest, clunkiest fight. It's ruining what usually be a great stunt. So, that's not getting my stamp of approval. The stunt, yes, but not the actual fight. So, I don't know, they kick Jaws back in the gondola. They take it down, it ends up crashing. and Bond and Goodhead get kidnapped and they have to go in this ambulance. Meanwhile, Jaws dusts himself off and falls in love. That's right. Dolly is her name. Tiny little girl, and they, for whatever reason, just instantly fall in love. So, that's when this movie takes a bit of a turn. So Bond and Goodhead are in the ambulance, and Bond kind of escapes just like winking at this dude that's guarding him, like winking at him, then winking at Goodnight, and like, I'm kind of getting some threesome vibes. Alright? This isn't space. You can't do this weird shit anymore. But Bond ends up like escaping from his little bed. I don't know why the driver just doesn't stop the goddamn ambulance, but they just keep driving away. And Bond, meanwhile, like gets in like a Western outfit somehow. I don't know where he gets this. I was always kind of confused by this. But the next scene that you see Bond in, it looks like he's in a Western. He's got like one of those cowboy hats or those sombrero-looking things. And he goes to MI6, which is just weird. And he goes to see Q. Balls Q. A lot of hijinks ensuing in Q's lab with the lasers and the whatnots and the what-have-yous. So apparently that toxin comes from an orchid in the Amazon jungle. And he's like, you seem to be right, 007. It's highly toxic. Yes, I fucking know. I just told you it was. I went to this lab and it killed everybody. Why are y'all not believing me? Dicks. So he takes this baller-ass boat to the Amazon jungle to go, I guess, just find where this orchid is or what's going on there. So, let's take a little break for the advertisements. Alright. Kim's Nail Salon. Okay. Kim's Nail Salon, folks. Offering services for your manicure and pedicure needs. Kim's will treat you like family as soon as you walk through the door. With a team of knowledgeable professionals, Kim's Nail Salon is the place to go. This doesn't sound too bad. Come today. Okay. I remember this. Small print. You gotta read the small print. This is actually a front for a child sex trafficking ring. Please tell your listeners and we'll love you long time. Okay. You know, I have a good mind to take that out. I believe that children are our future. And I don't support that ad. Kim, it's not cool, Kim. Not cool. I gotta start vetting these things. Really doing my research before I start reading this stuff. I'm sorry, alright? And if your child has been a victim to Kim's Nail Salon, you know, you have my sincere... I'm gonna make a donation to some sort of charity. That's my pledge to you. Bond news. Of course we don't have any fucking Bond news. I don't think I've done an episode since Barbara Broccoli said, "Oh no, we're about 2 years away from like any type of pre-production." Like 2 years away? Y'all stopped doing shit in like late 2019. 2 years away would be late 2024. That's a 5-year break of just doing nothing. I'm not gonna say they're doing nothing. I mean, I know there was a lot of marketing and stuff when the movie actually came out. But like, as far as filming the movie, producing a movie, y'all have been done for 3 years. You're still 2 more years away until you start. God damn, man. Like, sell your shares then. Like, if you're just gonna do a movie every 6 years and take your sweet ass time, I mean, I prefer them to be in charge because they know the brand better than anybody. But god damn, man, why are y'all going so slow all the time? I mean, those shitty Marvel movies come out every year. Maybe we come out every 3 years and make them quality. I don't know. But I'm starting to think they're not listening to any of my advice. So that's the Bond news. The Bond news is there is no Bond news. Some Rocky news. I think Creed 3 got delayed. I heard like the production was a shit show. Of course, who knows? I never know what to believe, whether it's a shit show or not, based on who's saying what. But looks like Creed 3's not coming out till March or something. I don't know. That's never a good sign, though. I mean, November is a great time to release a movie, and March is, I don't know, not. So, you know. And Sylvester Stallone got a divorce, so ladies, whores, get those push-up bras ready. He's on the prowl. So anyway, back to the movie. So we're going to the Amazon River, going to Drax's facility, and he gets attacked in that big boat that he's in. Boy, Roger likes him a boat, huh? Live and Let Die and Golden Gun, and I guess Spy Who Loved Me, he was on that little jet ski for a while. I'm sure maybe he's on a boat again. The gondola in this one, this boat. Loves him a boat. The man knows what he likes. You know what else he likes? Safari suits. Because he's wearing one of those here. And he wore one, when did he wear one? Man with the Golden Gun? Or was that a Leisure Suit and Live and Let Die, that blue one? I don't know. He likes odd suits. Let's just say that. I hope those come back, by the way, because I'd wear the shit out of that. What the hell is that? Is that guy wearing a safari suit? So yeah, they have a big fight on those boats. This is such a great scene just because they have their Moonraker outfits on, those big yellow jumpsuits. Those bodies fly so high when they get exploded. It is just hilarious. And Jaws is there, going berserk, just rips the fucking steering wheel off one of the boats. And the henchman's like, fuck, Jaws! Goddamn, dude, we're trying, like, goddamn caveman? Don't rip the wheel off of the actual boat. We can't steer this thing anymore. We're gonna die. And sure enough, they all die, except for Jaws. And Bond escapes on a glider. There's a glider, like, built into the boat, of course. So he's walking around the jungle. Doesn't seem very organized. He's just walking. And sees this woman and follows her to Drax's facility. And he says, dang, that was lucky. And there's like a dozen women there. So he's like, well, shit. I guess I'm just going to whip these 12 bitches' ass. And then he gets thrown in the water and attacked by a snake. And he ends up killing it with, I can't remember what he kills it with. Some sort of sharp object. But he escapes. And Jaws lifts him out of the water, but doesn't kill him. Now that I really don't understand. They just threw you in a big thing of water to be killed by this snake. You stab the snake, we take you out of the water, and we're just not going to kill. Like, we're just not going to kill you. It's an odd one. I know it's a Bond movie, and they avoid killing him a lot, but Jesus Christ, dude. Drax comes out. You defy all my attempts to plan an amusing death for you. I love this. Just a villain that's at least being honest with it. Maybe that's why Jaws doesn't kill him. I'm trying to plan an amusing death for you. You know, a villain that just embraces how crazy and diabolical he is. That's the guy I can get behind. Why did you break off the encounter with my pet python? I'm sorry, should I let him continue, sir? I do love a clear setup for a pun or a joke. Why did you break off the encounter with my pet python? I discovered he had a crush on me. So they bring him to the control room, and 4 Moonraker rockets are launching. And Drax says he stole that Moonraker at the beginning of the movie because one of his fucked up. I don't know. Why couldn't they just build another one? I don't know. But I guess we had to connect him to that first scene, as if anyone cares at this point. And he just starts yapping about some psychotic fucking bullshit. I don't know what. He's something about like this flower wiped out this civilization, but now it yields death, and I've taken care of this sterile issue or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Jaws, Mr. Bond must be cold after his swim. Place him somewhere where he can be assured of warmth. And Jaws like, okay, got it. Bottom of the rocket, right? Is that what you were? You know, I feel like we have a good back and forth now. I kind of know what you're thinking. We got a good chemistry. And I know by that look you mean bottom of a rocket so he can be disintegrated. Got it. So sure enough, they get to the bottom of the rocket, and Goodhead's already there. James! So she's all excited. I'm not sure if you should be too happy, because we're about to be pretty crispy. They are not going to recognize us after this. Even in death, my munificence is boundless. Your own private crematorium. Boy, Drax just has a way with words, man. He uses his tongue prettier than a $3 whore. And Drax leaves, and he's like, all right, there's no way to get out, right? No exit? It's just the bottom of the rocket. Well, there's an air vent. What? There's an air vent there. Okay, but he doesn't have anything to, like, help him blow that up or something, right? I don't think so. It's locked. You know, I don't think he ever carries a bunch of gadgets on him, so we should be good. Fucking idiots. So yeah, sure enough, they escape, and they pose as astronauts, and just hop on one of the Moonrakers. So dang, that was easy. Like, alright, what's our next move? I'm thinking we go to space. There's no other way to say it. You know, I rode in that thing that Chang tried to kill me in, so I should be fine. I don't know. I took up to like 15 G's of pressure, so I don't know. And they start like driving it, and they're like, it's okay, we're on a prearranged flight program. Oh, good, because I don't know how to fly a rocket. I should have been clear on that before we got on this thing. I don't know how to fly a rocket. I don't know how to fly a rocket. That's just, yeah, there's no other way to say that. It's just, I don't know how to do this. So the cargo in all the rockets is 10 couples, and they realize it's like to start this new race. And Drax just wants to kill the entire planet, basically. I mean, this guy's a real rascal, okay? So he wants to kill 4 billion people with that nerve gas that we saw earlier in the movie. And they arrive at Drax's airbase, and Jaws and his girlfriend are there. I don't know how she got there. Hey, Hugo, can my girlfriend come? What? Can my girlfriend come? What do you mean you're... No, you... When... You have a girlfriend? When did this happen? Do you have any idea how strict the weight limit is on this stuff? Rockets going to space. No, she can't fucking come. Your girlfriend. She gets a uniform, too. You know how hard those are to get? She gets one of those big yellow puffy jumpsuits. So Drax starts giving a speech like he's in fucking Munich in the 1930s. And talking about how they're only accepting like the superior, perfect specimens for a new human race. And Jaws is like, what now? I don't think that means us, because I don't look so good. First there was a dream. Now this is a reality. A race of perfect human specimens. And Bond's like, whew, guess I'm safe, because I am fucking wildly attractive. You have all served in my terrestrial empire. Your seed, like yourselves, will pay ultimate deference to the ultimate dynasty that I alone have created. Now, the psychometer is going... The stick has broken off on that psychometer. This guy's losing his goddamn mind. Bond and Holly, meanwhile, just walking around the space station, just no big deal, walking anywhere they want. I don't even know how these good-looking people were picked, because they're all, like, crazy attractive. Like, are they so good-looking that they're too dumb to realize what they're doing? Like, oh, that sounds about right, you know? I'm always surprised in the middle of Drax's speech, he's not like, I'm sorry, is that Card Sense? Is that James Bond right there? How the fuck is he out here? Thought he was dead 6 times over. So Bond and Holly take out the radar jamming system. And again, when they get in that room, the workers don't even tell them anything. I mean, wouldn't you know everybody at this point? There's like only 100 people around. I'm sorry, who are you? So they just whip these dudes' ass, take out the jamming system. Now Earth can see them. The U.S. calls Gogol, meanwhile, who's in his red jams. He just looks like $1 million, shacked up with some whore. And Gogol's pissed. Like, yeah, we're on our way, Gogol. Like, we're going to take care of this. He's like, okay, very well, but if I don't hear back from you in 12 hours, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to nuke the moon. How about that? I understand clearly that it's going to screw my country up too, but I've had just about enough of this bullshit. So, chop chop. So Jaws finds Bond and Goodhead and takes him to Drax. And that's when Drax reveals his whole plan. I like when Bond tries to knee Jaws in the nuts, and it just has like that aluminum sound, and Jaws is like embarrassed almost. I always enjoyed that. So yeah, he brings him to Drax. James Bond, you appear with the tedious inevitability of an unloved season. Boy, you know, the guy has a way with words. Have I mentioned that? Hugo Drax, you fucking diabolical bastard. So he's got 50 globes of nerve gas that they're going to release. Each one kills like 100 million people. And, you know, I'm going to start a new race. Pretty good, right? Huh? Pretty good idea. So the U.S. sends the shuttle, and Jaws realizes he's fucked, because he's not going to be part of this whole new human race. Dolly's like sweeping up. They couldn't find a job for her, so like Dolly's the janitor, and she's realizing what the fuck's going on. Like, well, that doesn't sound good for me. So he turns to the side of good. Jaws does. One of the all-time great henchmen turns to the good side. And I don't know, what's the word? Hate this? I hate this. You're ruining a great henchman. I don't like this. And Bond prevents the Moonraker from shooting the U.S. shuttle. There's some sort of like stop switch right near him. That's pretty lucky. And then that no gravity kicks in, which I think they did that all on wires, which is pretty impressive. That's another fun fact. I mean, God help you if you get like tangled up in all those wires together. It's like going fishing and your fishing line gets tangled. You might as well just go back home. You might as well go back home before you even go fishing. Fishing sucks. I'm sorry if you're a big fisherman. But, you know, I'm not sure if you've been to a grocery store lately, but they have wonderful fish there. Fresh, too. You don't have to buy a boat. You don't have to buy a camp. You don't have to go to buy bait. You don't have to do any of that. Seasick? Fuck fishing. What was I talking about? Drax? So Drax's men in like the U.S. have like this big space laser fight. They're just creating a lot of space trash. It's a little, like, it's just silly looking. It's like dumb. It's not exciting. I don't care. It's kind of like Thunderball in space. It's just like, all right, okay. Meanwhile, 2 male U.S. pilots say, let's try docking. Now, if you don't know what docking is, the sexual term, it's one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. And I'm not going to explain it to you. But if you want to go look it up, that's your prerogative. You know, you can go check that out. Am I using that word right? Prerogative? I don't know. That's your call if you want to go look it up. I don't recommend it, but if you're so inclined, look it up. Yeah, so they started fighting inside too, and Drax is like, fuck this, I'm gonna go try a new thing. Has anyone tried underwater new races yet? Oh, he did? Stromberg? Okay, well, I'll think of something. So Drax is like, yeah, I'm leaving. And Bond tracks him down and uses that wrist dart from Q. Desolated, Mr. Bond. Heartbroken, Mr. Drax. And before he throws him out into space, Bond's like, okay, seriously though, before we part ways, how did you change that room from lab to office? No one's here. It's just me and you. You're about to die anyway. I really need to know how you did that trick, because that was pretty impressive. So he throws him out into space. Take a giant leap for mankind. Where's Drax? He had to fly. And then the space station, just for whatever reason, starts exploding. I don't know why it starts exploding, but it is the end of a Bond movie. And it's kind of what needs to happen. Things need to start exploding. So Jaws and Dolly reunite, and it's just awful. They have this slow motion, stupid fucking hug. And they open up some champagne as everyone's leaving. Well, here's to us. I'm shocked they didn't just blow Holly up or Jaws. Like, the U.S. must have been like, oh, I remember this motherfucker from last movie. This guy's a serial killer. I'm gonna light his ass up with this laser. They start, like, waving goodbye to Bond and Holly like they're old friends. Like, they used to go on double dates together. It's terrible looking. And Bond and Holly on that escape pod, like, don't worry, they'll make it. It's only 100 miles to Earth. Well, it's a little complicated to just enter the Earth's atmosphere. Are Jaws and Dolly qualified in any way to do that? To re-enter the Earth's atmosphere in this space station? And once he lands, dude, that guy's going to fucking prison, man. He killed so many people. No, it's fine. He's in love now, so he could just roam the countryside, a free man. Like, no, dude, I didn't forget all those murders. Feckish? Remember Feckish? Remember, I don't know, but there are other people. What's that guy in the phone booth he kills? God damn, I'm not gonna be able to remember his name. Calba, Max Calba? Boy, you know, just when I think my mind's slipping from all the years of drinking, I'm reminded that my mind's like a steel goddamn trap. Max Calba. Anyway, so with like Jaws' help, they kind of help him leave on that escape pod, and they go around destroying the rest of the gas bombs, Bond and Goodhead, and take it back to Earth. Like when it's like they start getting close to Earth, it's getting hot. Well, yeah, Card Sense, we're entering the Earth's atmosphere. That's what happens. Now I know why they don't call you, Space Sense. Stupid. And do those lasers that they keep shooting, do those just, like, keep going? Like, through the Earth's atmosphere? Because if so, like, there's some, like, single-family homes that are going to be affected by those lasers that they keep shooting. That's not safe. I mean, I know you're trying to save 900 million people, whatever it is, but still, I mean, what about that one home in, Salt Lake City, Utah? Rest in peace, I guess. So they save the world, hooray, and they just start fucking on a ship. And they do it all the different ways. Inside, outside, left and right, and up and down, and who are you, and what are we? They're banging everywhere. And, of course, M and Freddie Gray and Q and everybody just get to watch him banging. Just full insertion. My God, what's Bond doing? I think he's attempting re-entry, sir. Which is just one of my favorite puns. And just, I mean, is there a better last line of a Bond movie? I think he's attempting re-entry, sir. And end credits. And we get a disco version of Moonraker, which is a lot better. I prefer that one to the first one. So, but anyway, there's Moonraker. There's your full size. There's your big boy. It got mixed reviews at the time. Contemporary reviews like today are not great. The Spy Who Loved Me was such a hit, and they just threw it all in for Moonraker 2. The budget just kept going nuts. But it paid off, though. I mean, it was a huge box office success and the biggest moneymaker for them until GoldenEye. Like, I think unadjusted for inflation. So even like the Dalton movies, I don't think made as much money as Moonraker. This was a huge hit. I think this and Spy Who Loved Me is like Roger's peak. And a lot of people like consider this the kind of a low point in the series. I don't at all. I think it's a peak in the series. It's not some great movie. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, just if you want to see a Bond movie, you go see Moonraker. But like, Roger looks great. It's his fourth movie. They just came off a movie that was their biggest success. Moonraker was even bigger. I mean, they were kind of on top of the world at this point. I don't consider this to be a low point at all. I love Moonraker. And I like it more and more over the years. I used to not like it as a kid. The sci-fi stuff kind of threw me. The space fight is not great, I'll admit, now still. I don't like Jaws turning. It's not like a top 10 movie for me. But it's such a good time, man. Especially like the stuff before they get into space. And again, like the budget was sky high, so they really... it's a quality freaking Bond movie. Roger's great. I love Holly Goodhead. I love Jaws for a while. He's not as good as Spy Who Loved Me. Chang. Hugo Drax is fantastic as the villain. His lair is so great. Ken Adam, this is his last movie. After this movie, they're like, dude, you're the best, but like, you're fucking fired. Because all these sets you keep drawing up for us, they're like tripling our budget, man. Like, everyone costs $1 million. So fuck you. Get off my set. So that's what happened to Ken Adam. That was his last movie. But you can see why, man. Like, Drax's control room, Drax's house, the space station. It's like, dude, this is the shit. Yeah, this is just a good time Bond movie. What can I say? Moonraker is a grand old time. This is the last appearance of Bernard Lee as M. There's a fun fact. Did you know that? Now you do. And there's a big debate amongst Bond fans whether Dolly had braces. It's what's that called? The Mandela effect or something? Bond fans are convinced, some Bond fans, that Dolly, Jaws' girl, had braces. That was like why they were together. She was tiny, blonde, and had braces, looked like metal teeth. He was humongous, ugly, and he had metal teeth too, and that was like their connection. But she clearly doesn't have braces now, but a lot of fans are saying they edited it out. It's a huge deal. Like, Google Dolly had braces, Dolly braces Moonraker, and you will get all kind of shit, like fan arguments, and it's something. Calvin Dyson even made an entire video about it, and the fan comments on it were like, good lord, like, y'all some psychopaths. I don't know why they would have taken that out of the movie. I obviously didn't see it in theaters. I didn't see it originally, so I don't know if she had her braces originally. I don't think she did, because that doesn't make any sense why they would take it out. So I'm on the no braces side, as are most people, because what would be the point? But if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, did Dolly have braces? Look it up. So yeah, there's Moonraker. Grand old time, man. It's a perfect like Saturday kind of movie where it's just, you're going to have some drinks with the boys or the girls, and you got a fun day planned. It's a Roger kind of day. Moonraker's just fun. It works as a Sunday movie as well. Sunday afternoon, lazy Sunday. You're doing stuff around the house. You have it on in the background. It's just a good time, man. Great action sequences. Great freaking stunts. Like, top of the line. So, there's Moonraker. What shall we do next? I'm thinking Diamonds Are Forever and Die Another Day. That's right. I'm putting myself through that shit show. I don't care. Think I care? And I'm also, we got the 60th anniversary coming up next month. It's September right now. So maybe I'll do, as a 60th anniversary special, my top 25 Bond movies. What do you think about that? Huh? Now you're excited. It's okay, you can admit it. I bet you're excited right now. I'm excited. So it's okay if you feel that way. Alright, so there you go. I forgot, I told you I would tell you what 69 is, and a promise is a promise. 69. How do I explain this? So, when a man and a woman love each other, and it's the man's birthday, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do it justice. Maybe talk to your parents or your local clergyman, and they can explain it to you. But until then, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
'69.